Welcome to part 2 of this tutorial. Now we're going to create the actual doll for this flower bouquet slash doll project. First I want to show you, let me put down my camera here so I can use both of my hands. First I want to show you the tubes that we created, or I created, before actually putting them together. First one would be a very long tube. And then for this tube, I actually used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, no, I lied. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 kinds of yarn. The first one would be a fluffy yarn. This part right here would be the teddy bear part. And I hate this because I can't remove the tag. It's a red heart called High Fur. I got it from Joann's. And this, I believe, is a color. Let's see what it says. Soft taupe. Okay, they also have a dark one, which I like as well. But I think I would be able to emphasize the face more using the lighter color. Okay. I barely finished half of it, so one skein would be enough. Okay. I also used for the inside part of the tube, just so it's not too soft, and is a big twist value yarn from Joann's. By the way, these are not sponsored, okay? I purchased this on my own. And this is a khaki color, okay? That would be this part right here. It's not going to show on the actual doll. It's going to be on the inside. Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay, so the next color that I use, I don't think I have the tag for it anymore, but I use this white part. This is a Caron 1 pound yarn. Again, value. It's just white. So actually you can use any brand of your choice. Any brand of white or khaki or beige. And then I also use the burgundy yarn that I use for the flower. It's kind of like dark red or closer to maroon. Okay. And this, it will show on the outside. Okay. Another substitute you can use for the furry part is the pipsqueak. The Bernat pipsqueak from, I know they have it at Joann's, sometimes on Amazon. They have the brown one as well. Not sure if they have the khaki or the light brown. But I'm sure there are others available out there. There's so many, actually. All right. So for the row counts, I started with the inside layer with, let's do this first. So with the you're going to cast on with your burgundy yarn. And you're going to make 8 rows. Okay. Switch to your white yarn. And make, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. And make 50 rows. This would be this long part right here. After 50 rows, switch to your khaki yarn, the regular yarn. And make 32 rows. And this is going to be made with, I actually made this with the 46 pin with my Addy. You can also use the 48 with your Centro. It's going to be a little wider, but not big of a difference. With the flowers on the first part, I forgot to say that you should be just using your 22 pin machines, okay? So after the khaki regular yarn, you're going to switch to your hide. I hope that's how they say it, the hide fur. And then you're going to make 40 rows. This will be for the head and the body part of the bear. And then it's a long row, so bear with me. You're going to switch to, again, your burgundy yarn. And you're going to make 2 rows. Switch again to your white yarn. And make 6 rows. Switch again to your burgundy and make another 2 rows. Then go back to your white yarn and make 40 rows. Okay, 40 rows. After 40 rows, you're gonna switch again to your burgundy using making 3 rows. And then finally switch back to your white yarn and make 4 rows. And then you can cast off. Okay. All right. And then just make sure also when you end this row, make sure not to cinch this end, because we will be using this later on as part of the skirt of the bear. Okay, so we don't want this part cinched. Okay, all right. More tubes to show you. Okay, now we're gonna go back to using your let me see here. You're going to go back to using your 22 pin. And this time just using the hide fur for the arms. You're going to make 2 tubes of 25 rows. Okay, cast on, make 25 rows, then cast off. Okay, this is how each arm should look like. And I'll show you later how to make it. Okay, and then for the ears, you're going to make 2 tubes made of 18 rows each. So cast on, 18 rows, cast off. Okay, and this is how each ear should look like. All right, and now again, I'll show it later to you how to make that. And then finally, one more tube is for the snout. You're going to make 1 tube of 25 rows. All right, so we'll just keep this aside for now because we can't really make the snout unless we finish the head and the face and the body. All right, okay, so let's start with the small tubes. First with the arms. Okay, because this is such a thick and fluffy yarn, we're not going to be double layering it. We're not even going to put any stuffing in it. Okay, so all you really need to do, and you've probably seen this in one of my previous videos before, is just roll your tube lengthwise like you're rolling a tobacco, which I haven't really done. I've just seen it on TV. And then just close the edges together. So you're just making like a burrito, a really narrow burrito. You don't want to make it too fat because our doll is not that big. Okay. Kind of roll it into 3 rolls or 3 times to make it as thin as possible. And just, let me focus this a little bit so you can see it better. So I'm just sewing the edges of the tube together to create a one narrow tube. And it's, as you can see, it's already fluffy. I don't need to put any stuffing in there. Now, if you're going to use a regular yarn, I really don't think that you should still use stuffing for the arms because If you roll it like this, the yarn, the thickness of the yarn itself would serve the purpose. Okay, it would still be bulky. So as easy as that. Okay, what I like about using this kind of yarn is they're soft, they're fluffy, and if you make a mistake, you're not really gonna see the mistake. You can't even see the stitches that I made, as you can see. All right, so close this end. All right, and then let's hide that yarn tail. We'll leave one yarn tail on so we can use it later for sewing. Okie dokes. So this will be our arms, okay? And I'll show you later how to attach that to the body. Okay, done with the arms. Next, let's do the ears. Now, how did I do the ears? I can't remember. So grab the tube. So it should look like this, right? Okay, grab your tube. How many rows did we do for the ears? 18 rows. So just cinch the ends. Okay. How can I make this? There you go. Cinch the ends. And then what I did, I believe, was just fold it lengthwise. So here are the ends, right? Fold it lengthwise in half. Okay. And then with one yarn tail and your needle, which I am going to get now, use this yarn tail. And you're just going to close this edge, okay? But you did not roll it this time. You just folded it in half, okay? And then you're going to make sure that end is cinched. Close that end by sewing. And then just sew the edges together. Just regular hemming stitch. And then you're going to be pulling this yarn later on to cinch this, the sides together, just to make it curve up a little to create that shape of the ear. Okay, let's close this in. Make sure no, not part of anything, part of the tube is closed. Okay, so what you're gonna do now is make, after you close this side, you're gonna make, again with the same yarn tail if it's long enough, make running stitches along that side where you made, where you connected the edges. Running stitches, all the way to the other end where you started. Then pull that yarn and cinch it. So when you cinch it, it's going to automatically make that curved shape of the ear, or rounded shape of the ear. Okay. I made the other one a little wider, but I think I'm just going to make it as even as this one. So I'm going to have to curl it up a little bit more, just like this one, because I like this better. Okay. And then after cinching, use the same yarn tail to attach it to the other side, just to lock it, the shape in place. Maintain that shape that you created. Oops, lost my yarn there. Okay, so it's a little curve there. Again, fluffy. So that would be your ear. Like if this would be, just an example. Oops, hang on. If this is the head, this would be your ear. Just like that. Okay. All right, so let's make sure our stitches are locked. I'm gonna make a couple of knots here, and then we're gonna hide one of the remaining stitches and keep the other one on for later. Okie dokie. Let's cut this. So this is the shape that I actually want. So I'm going to have to fix this a little bit. The first one that I made, because I want it a little bit curled up like this. Oops. I want this better than this one. So I'm going to have to do a little repair here later on. Okay. But this is the shape that you want to be able to create. Okay. So let's set this aside. Now we're going to go to the main body. Body, head, and bottom of the I guess the flower. Now with any project that you make that involves switching of colors, yarn colors, you want to make sure that before you do anything else with your tube, you want to turn it over and tie up the ends of the yarn tails where you made your color switch. Okay, that way you don't cause any drop stitches. All right, so I did that in advance already. Okay. All right, so I'm doing this. I'm creating this doll as I go. I've never done this type of project before. I've created a doll, but not this unique kind. So let's see what happens. We do it as we go. So what we need to do, take the end where you have the burgundy color at the end, and you want to cinch that, okay? It's a little big and thick, so be careful when you're cinching because you don't want to break that. So this would be the bottom of our flower bouquet. And at the same time, it would also be your the legs of the doll. Dual purpose. I'm really hoping and praying that the shape that I want would appear. Like I always said in my previous videos, it's sort of like a trial and error for me when I'm making these videos. And I seem to surprise myself most of the time because I never thought that a machine like the Central or the Addy could create things like this. Of course, with all our great ideas. Okay, so we just close that end, okay? Let's close this end just by sewing. Whatever easy technique you know. Okay, remember we're going to use this as part of the legs later on too, so okay, I think that's close to enough. Okay, now when we insert this inside the tube, this would be, you won't see this side, you would see the other side. So let's see what happens here. This is a long tube, so you probably would need to insert your entire arm through the tube just to get this side to go to the other side, okay? So you want to insert your needle through the center of this end, grab it with your other hand on the other side, and then grab this end with your other hand and pull it through the center of the tube until you get it to the other side. You want it evenly aligned with this other end, okay? So after you've inserted this end of the tube inside the tube and aligned it with this end of the tube, we're now gonna create the body and the head, okay? This would be the head, this would be the body. So the first thing, since we'll be inserting stuffing on these parts, I would like to close the bottom part of the body first, okay? So what you need to do is grab your burgundy yarn, which I'm doing now. Oops. And then we're going to make running stitches along this bottom edge of the burgundy row. And when you do that, you want to make sure, since this part is open, you want to make sure that you insert your hand through the tube. That way you are going to be able to feel that your needle is going through the 2 layers of the tube, okay? Just the 2, not all 4, because there's 4 layers now, okay? So just the 2 layers. So starting from, actually I'm going to start from the back. So if I have to tie it together, then it won't be showing. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So starting from here, just go 1 row, bottom border of that burgundy border, just make running stitches. Okay, so we're kind of creating here the skirt and the bottom edges of the body, okay? So continue doing that. Let's see. Oh. Continue doing that until you made it all the way around. Okay, so we made it back to where we started. Oops, make that even right there. Okay, so now that you have the 2 ends, tail ends together, you're gonna cinch that area. It's gonna be tight because it's thick. You're cinching 2 layers here. So just do what you can, okay? Cinch as much as you can without breaking your yarn. Okay, so what you can do first is use both yarn tail, tie a couple of knots. Okay, and then maybe just to make this cinch a little bit more, you can make another round of running stitches through the first one that you already created. Just want to make the skirt look more pleated and emphasize the waistline. That's why I wanted a little bit more cinched than it is now. So try to make it back to where you started. And then we can tie again a couple of knots to make it tight or locked. All right. So cinch some more if you can. I think that's the furthest I can make. Yep. Let's see. Good, it's still showing. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it a couple of times as well with this yarn tail, because it's being stubborn right now. It won't cinch as much as I want it to go. There you go. I think that's good enough. All right, and then we're gonna tie the ends again. This is gonna be one teddy bear with a very small waistline. Okay. All right, now let's hide the yarn tails. Hiding the yarn tails. Okay, so that's the waistline right there, and this would be your skirt so far. Okay, and then what we're gonna do now is, let me just stretch this out a little bit more. So part of this furry area would be the top part of the body or the shoulders. So I want you to count, if you can see the rows, about 6 rows up from the top. From the top border of this burgundy row, I want you to count about, from here, I want you to count about 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, or if it's hard for you to see, which I'm having trouble with right now, hang on, let me just measure it for you. So from the top border of this burgundy row, you want to do like maybe 1.25 inches. Okay, and so what you're gonna do is, from this you're gonna make another row of running stitches around that area, around the circumference of the body, and that would be your division of the body to the head. But before we do that, I'm gonna put a moderate amount of stuffing to the body, not a lot, because actually with the thickness of this yarn, it's already bulky right there. Okay, so I'm not gonna put a lot, just enough to show that there's a body. All right. Dokes. I think that should be enough, because it will be like that. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, so now that you've marked the area where you want to do your running stitches, insert, I'm going to be using my khaki yarn just to make these running stitches, just to make sure that it doesn't break, because if I use that fur yarn, I'm sure it's going to break if I pull and cinch it, because it's not that thick. Okay, so I'm going to use this marker. So you're going to leave a tail right there, so you could pull it later to cinch the area. It's always nice to have tape measure available and handy to you, especially if you're not sure of your measurements. So as you go around the circumference, you may want to use your tape measure, and be careful when you're pulling too, because that changes the length or the measurement. Okay, so we made it back to where we started. Okay, I think I put so much of these stuffings, so I'm gonna take off some of them. Okay, but let me see first. All right, so we cinch this part again, and I think I was right. I overstuffed it. Okay, there you go. Okay, so that would be your body. Okay, so I'm just gonna tie a knot here to completely close this end, or this end of the body. Oh, why am I having trouble here? Hang on. There you go. Okay. And as usual, my running stitches are not enough to cinch this end, so I'm gonna wrap it around this part to better cinch it. We just don't want it to be too round that it's looking like a head or a ball. Okay. All right, so we're gonna tie it up again. There, that's better. I'm gonna turn it over and tie it up once more. And then we're gonna hide this yarn tails. See the body now. Now we're gonna make the head. Ooh, I really hope this works. I'm just excited whenever I'm able to create something I have not made before. I know I've made a few dolls in the past, but not something like this. All right, now that we've hidden that, we're gonna move on to making the head. Okay, back again. Had to take a little pause there. All right, so we've now stuffed and closed the body part. This is the skirt part. Okay, and now we're gonna stuff the head. But before we do that, you wanna grab another yarn string of your khaki yarn, insert it through a needle, and like how we always do, we're gonna close the ends by making running stitches around the edges of the head. So make sure that the yarn length that you use is long enough to go around the edges. Okay, so let's keep doing this. Let me see if I can show it to you closer. Just running stitches. Oops. Keep going. We're almost halfway there. Almost there. And again, we're going to use this as drawstrings to close this end. I'm already cinching it. Okay. Now, before you completely close this end, of course, you want to put the stuffing to create the shape of the head. Let's see. So we want to make it as round as we can. Let me see if that's round enough. Might need to put a little bit more. Well, maybe not. Okay. So once you've achieved the desired shape that you want, or your desired shape, you can now close this. Actually, I'm going to put just a bit more. There you go. So just cinch it close. Tie your tail ends together. And if it doesn't completely close the end of the head or the top of the head, you can, of course, use your yarn needle and sew them together. But since this is such a soft yarn, the fur yarn, it actually worked just by cinching it. Okay, so that would be your head. The head, the body, and the skirt. I intentionally made the head bigger, okay? All right. Okie dokie. So now, we don't need this yarn tails anymore. So I'm gonna maybe make a couple of stitches to make sure that end is close. And then we're gonna hide this yarn tail, sorry. So I noticed most of the other videos by other YouTubers making the same things that I'm making. They are able to make their projects in sometimes less than half an hour, or maybe sometimes longest maybe less than an hour. I am still having trouble making it in less than an hour. So I've yet to learn how to edit my videos and maybe just cut off the things that are really not important. You tend to blab when you're making these tutorials. And I hope you guys don't mind that. All right, I'm back. So this time we're gonna, so you make sure you choose the side that you want to be facing forward. Let me see. Pretty much the same to me. I like this side too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna choose this side. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna attach the arms. So it's simple. All you really need to do is attach one end of each arm directly below the head on each side of the body. Okay, and I'll show that to you. So the way we want the arms positioned are actually this way. Like if she can hold her hands that way. Okay. But for now, let's just attach it to the bottom of the head. Okie dokes. Each side of the body. So let's turn it to the side. And just attach it. I wanted to make the arm smaller, but so if you think this is too big for you, you can maybe instead of making 25 rows, you can just reduce it to 20. Okay, and then we're just gonna lock our stitches and hide the remaining yarn. Oh my goodness, I'm not even in the video frame, sorry. And let's hide our yarn. Okay. So that's one. All right. So we've attached one already. Okay, we're gonna do another one. Now, if you notice, I haven't put any of the eyes yet. If you, and that's my fault. I should have mentioned it to you earlier when the head was still open. But I will be using button eyes. That's why I did not put them on right away. But if you're going to use plastic doll eyes, of course, you want to insert them right before you close the head. And the reason why I did not use the the plastic doll eyes, I know they're more secure than anything else, but with this type of yarn, even if I have another layer underneath, it can still go through because it's pretty loose and very soft. So, I mean, if you're giving this to a little girl or a very young individual, you want to make sure we don't cause anyone to choke or anything like that, or get any injury, knock on wood. Okay, done with the shoulders. I think we made the waistline too tiny, huh? Now I'm jealous. All right. Okay, so I want to put a little bit of maybe a shoulder strap here. So I'm going to use my burgundy yarn again. You don't have to make a tube for this. All right, so let me grab this again. And what I want you to do is make double yarn strings for this. We're just going to sew it. Just to give that effect that she's wearing a dress with a shoulder strap. Okay, so maybe we can start from the back. All right, so just from this area, first I'm going to hide the ends of my stitch. Okay, so from this area, so just align it along the shoulder part of the teddy. Okay, so I've attached it to the side already. So you're going to turn the bear over, or the doll, and just attach it to one of these parts, okay? There, just above the shoulder maybe. Huh. You know what, I should have crisscrossed it in the back, but that's fine. There, that's cute. You just want to make sure it's tight enough. That way it won't slide down when she's dancing. We don't want to have a wardrobe malfunction. Poor teddy bear having a wardrobe malfunction on Valentine's Day. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll pull that up a little bit. Again, and at the same time, you don't want to make it too tight, okay? Because it might change the shape of the body. Huh, you're so fluffy. All right. I think that should be good for one side. And then you can go to the other side. Just along, again, along the, along with the other shoulder. And then if you really want to, the straps to show more, you can double the way you made it. You can do it again, but I'm satisfied with this one. Okay. There you go. And then maybe if you guys prefer to maybe crisscross it in the back, you can do that too. I should have done that, but it's kind of too late for me. And then let's just hide our stitches here. Okie dokie. This is one girly teddy bear. Okay, now for the ears. Oh, I really hope this turns out to be cute. So I'm still trying to figure out if I should get the arms together like this or just leave it alone. We'll see. Maybe a little like that. Okay, ears. Another easy one to attach. You just attach it on each side of the head, just like that. Okay. And just like that. All right. Oh my goodness. I hope this turns out cute. Okay. And this is like the top center of the head. You just want to align it there. And you want to do maybe 2 inches apart. Okay. All right. Let me grab my needle. Alrighty. So 1 inch away from the center, I want to attach one ear. If you want to make sure they are attached to the head equally apart, you can always temporarily attach them with a needle or a pin. And then from there you can sew it permanently. Oh my goodness, I'm not even here. Okay. Attaching it from the back so it doesn't show in the front. Da, 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 da. Now this is okay to be sewn by the same yarn, the fur yarn, because it's not really something that I have to cinch like the one we use for the waistline and the head. So you don't have to use a different type of yarn. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. Actually, before making this, I was thinking if I should do a bear, a panda, not a teddy, but a panda bear, or a cat. But, you know, since I'm using roses as the flowers, I think it's cuter to do a teddy. Of course, that's your choice too. Okay, one ear down. Okay, one more. Let me pause this and I'll come back when both are put on, okay? Okay guys, so this is what we have so far. We got the ears attached, body and arms done, skirt done. Well, we're gonna have to do something about the bottom. And so now we're gonna attach, I'm gonna do the face last because I wanna work on the bottom, something on the end of the skirt and of course the handle for the flowers at the same time, okay?